Hello and welcome to the news. I am Sajo Brito. Coming up this evening, community of Mamuda grapple with huge land problem. KMC in collaboration with Action Aid Gambia create Citizens Demand a Charter. Organization called Million Books for Gambia makes huge donation to Armitage High School and Justice Ministry. Our guest today is PPP's interim party leader, Honorable Keba Jallo, who will be joining us later on the show. But first, we'll begin with the newspapers. The Standard newspaper is reporting that Inter-Party Committee delays a validation of electoral bill. Man stabbed to death at Brikama Joko. Raudatul Majalis urges government to investigate death threats against Bakausu Fofana. Civil servants undermining government will be dealt with, according to Presidential Advisor Sehu Mbalo. Let's take a look at some of these stories in detail. Inter-Party Committee delays validation of electoral bill. The Inter-Party Committee has delayed the validation of the elections bill after political parties expressed dissatisfaction that the bill doesn't contain their views and aspirations. Saturday's meeting was meant to avail political parties the opportunity to build a consensus on the 128-page draft elections bill and have strong recommendations at the end. The political parties that convened at the Ocean Bay Hotel over the weekend argued that they would take time to thoroughly look at the bill to make informed decisions. Man stabbed to death at Brikama Joko. Police on Saturday ordered the temporary closure of Joko nightclub in Brikama following a fatal stabbing incident. According to police sources, one Yusuf Adabo died after he was stabbed during an altercation at the nightclub, and his killer has been arrested by police in Brikama. Dabo's body has been evacuated to the mortuary in Banjul. Raudatul Majalis urges government to investigate death threats against scholar Bakausu Fofana. Raudatul Majalis has raised concerns over an audio doing the rounds on social media calling for the death of famous preacher and imam Bakausu Fofana. According to the group, one Dembo Trawale, resident in Spain, is behind the audio. The Standard confirmed the death threats on the audio but could not verify who the speaker is. However, speaking to the Standard newspaper, Imam Fode Mahmoud Toure, the Secretary General of Raudatul Majalis, said the audio is believed to be the voice of Trawale, who claimed that he would execute his threat when he comes to the Gambia in December. Civil servants undermining government will be dealt with, Sehu Mbalo. President Adama Barrow's deputy political advisor on youth matters has warned civil servants against undermining policies of the government, saying anyone found wanting will be dealt with. Sehu Mbalo said the government will not allow itself to be saddled with people in the public service who are bent on going around to sabotage a government's program at a time when it nears completing the National Development Plan. Now, Supreme Court hears Young's Srifo Sonko and Bibi Dabo cases. The Supreme Court of the Gambia, presided over by Justice Hassan Jallo, will hold its next session for a period of 2 weeks with effect from tomorrow, Tuesday, the 24th of November to Friday, the 4th December 2020. The Supreme Court is scheduled during this session to hear 19 cases comprising criminal appeals, civil appeals, and cases filed in the original jurisdiction of the court. It is also scheduled to deliver judgment in 4 cases. The High Court has referred 2 cases to the Supreme Court for the determination of specific points of law. In the case of the State versus Yankuba Toure, the High Court has requested the Supreme Court to determine whether the accused Yankuba Toure is entitled to constitutional immunity from prosecution for the alleged murder of Usman Koro Sise, pursuant to the provision of the 1997 Constitution. That's it for the Standard newspaper. Let's take a look at what the Point is saying. The Point newspaper is reporting that 20 Gambians deported from Germany and the government of the Gambia have been accused of having a hand in the deportations. Ahmad Ba threatens to close Kunta Kinte camp. Let's take a look at these stories. At least 20 Gambians were deported by German authorities on November 18th with allegations of Gambia government involvement. A source who is a victim of this latest deportation and spoke anonymously to the point revealed that the German authorities informed them that the government of the Gambia signed their deportation agreement without compromise. The Gambia government has long been denying signing any deportation agreement with any European country since 2017. However, the latest deportees are pointing fingers at the government's complicity for their return to the Gambia. Ahmad Ba threatens to close Kunta Kinte camp. According to the Gambia Tourism Affairs Facebook page, the Tourism Minister Ahmad N.K. Ba on Saturday threatened to close the Kunta Kinte camp in Jufre due to the poor condition of the camp, saying its facilities are below standard and authorities will not compromise on such degeneration facilities to host guests. The minister with tourism officials is currently on a nationwide tour to visit tourism and heritage facilities to assist their state of preparedness ahead of the much anticipated tourist season. That's it for the newspapers. Let's go for a break and we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. And now the community of Mamuda in Kombo South have been gripped by uncertainty over a huge land problem that has hit the village. Officials of physical planning supported by police earlier this month demolished structures built on pieces of land after they were adjudged to have been illegally occupied. Our editor-in-chief Lamin Jai traveled to Mamuda on Friday to find out what's happening there, and he came through with this report.
The unpleasant sight of what's left of a huge demolition exercise in Mamuda. Physical planning demolition officials accompanied by riot police 12 days ago stormed Mamuda village in Kombo South, tearing down structures erected on a staggering 56 different pieces of land. These pieces of land are found on a vast land that reportedly belonged to a rival Bojankunda family of Jambur. The family relied on a 2013 court victory and order to carry out the demolition. And shocked by the act, the people of Mamuda on Friday held an emergency meeting over the issue.
The problem started while I was away. That was last Thursday. That was on the 12th of this month. I was in URR, I was briefed, I was there. I received a call from one of my colleagues that a group of parliamentary officers armed are in the village, led by one Srifo Bojang from Jambur. Personally, I have never met that guy, I didn't know him. But there was no notice in connection to his presence to the village on that day. And its mission was to carry on demolition exercise on private properties, fence, houses or buildings. The Alcala was contacted. He said he was unaware. And the caller met them and he was told by the paramilitary their mission. The guy never spoke to Sifo Bojang. It was conducted on Thursday, 12th. The moment I received the communication, the first person I contacted was the governor, West Coast region. I called him and I told him that I received a call from my colleagues in the village, Mamuda, in connection to an issue of demolition exercise. But we understand that the guy who led the exercise said he has a court order. Are you aware? He said he was never aware.
The structures demolished include already built houses. The way and manner of the demolition saw the people of Mamuda nearly take the law into their own hands.
The second person I contacted was the military leader, Keke Barrow in Gunjur. I have his number. He too said he was not aware, but he said he will link with the governor, and which he did. That was on Thursday. On Friday, I departed to come, but I started with Bassi so I can get a fast-track vehicle to come. While in Bassi, I communicated, but I could not speak to the governor that day. I'm sure he must be busy. I spoke to the majority leader. He was on a meeting. We were communicating through text messages. And he said he communicated to the governor. Then I told him that my community members has taken a decision because they were told on Thursday that the team that came for the demolition will come back the next day. To prevent that or to show their anger, they will be on the highway to block the highway and burn tires. It's unlawful. But that's where they feel they can show their anger, to call on the attention of authorities that something has happened in the village. It's about to happen again, so there's a need for intervention.
According to Village Development Committee officials, while they confirmed at the High Court, Sheriff Division and Department of Physical Planning of a court order, the people were not notified of the demolition.
Nobody confirmed to me that there was notice to them, given to them. No one so far. I'm yet to confirm all of them, but those I contacted. El Carlo, I want to believe if there was going to be notice, the village elder should be one of them. The El Carlo, I want to believe that. He said he doesn't. He wasn't having.
When you went to the physical planning, did you ask them that, the issue of notice? Because you don't just, storm it.
I was in the group that went to physical planning. As I said, when I belonged to the group that went to High Court and Select Division and then Antuman Gay, the group that went to physical planning, I was not with them. In their report, they didn't inform me that there was notice. They didn't know. But even the group that went, there are among the ones who I contacted, they said they were not given any notice, and they are among the victims of the destruction that took place.
The people of Mamuda say they have visited the Minister of Lands, who promised to visit Mamuda on Tuesday.
The current update that is more paramount to this issue today is the Minister of Local Government, Mr. Drame, was met today, and he showed dismay to the issue that occurred in Mamuda. And he promised to be here on Tuesday in the afternoon, Mr. Drame, the local government minister, which I first went to be present to meet him. The physical planning authorities were met by my group prior to today's meeting, affirmed that yes, the demolition order was a court order. That was why the civil Bojang conducted it in Mamuda.
In Mamuda, there are fears of a second demolition wave. The people do not want this. They also do not want their land taken from them.
As of now, a major concern is to maintain ownership of the plots that are demolished. That's one key area in them, to prevent the occurrence of another phase into the same village. That's two, that I know it from them as I interact with them during the course of this period.
Land problems continue to rage across the country. It's however more serious in towns in the Combos, and there appears not enough commitment on the side of government in addressing them.
Watanbe, brought to you by Afrisa.
Be part of the amazing conversations with Gambia's greatest minds and personalities. Get ready to be entertained, inspired, and motivated on the Watanbe platform. Plus, stand a chance of winning the shopping of your life. Call or SMS 1010 for $3 is only to win cash prizes and a free shopping spree.
Join Watanbe live on GRTS and social media on Mondays and Fridays at 9 p.m. Kailin New Watan.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Welcome back. And now the Kanifing Municipal Council, in partnership with Action Aid funded by UNDP, created a platform called Citizens Demand Charter, where citizens will participate in the development of the municipality. Matisengor has more.
The Citizen Demand Charter is an initiative that will give residents of Kanifing Municipality the opportunity to look at the strategy plan of KMC and list down their priorities concerning the development of KM, since they are taxpayers and involving them in development plan is key. Representatives from the sub-regions, youth representatives, and differently able people attended the event.
To look at the strategy that is being developed in collaboration with key stakeholders within KMC, This strategy is being simplified by a consultant which was hired by ActionAid, funding from UNDP, because we made to understand that UNDP is focusing on the support of these 4 councils because they have supported the development of their regional strategies. But it's all premised on what we call transitioning. Like the government, the Gambia is really moving from dictatorship to democracy, where UNDP under their peace building fund is supporting the process of transitioning from dictatorship to democratic rule.
Fode Kani further highlighted the significance of the gathering.
One of the major significance of this gathering is going to increase performance, transparency, and accountability of public offices, especially Kanifing Municipal Council. Yeah, because it's part of enhancing, and it's a part of creating the enabling environment for inclusive citizens engagement with the respective councils whom they voted them in to be able to participate meaningfully in all the development aspiration within the KMC, so that they can fully participate. By that way, it will create more room for peace and stability, because if I don't know actually how you are utilizing the funds that is generated in my name, sometimes it creates chaos, it creates untrust, it creates dishonesty. But if we come together, discuss together, plan together, implement together, monitor together, report together, by that way there will be great peace within the Kanifing Municipal Council.
In another development, Jalika Jane noted the impact of participating in such an initiative, because it will give citizens the right to hold their leaders accountable if they fail to meet up with their demands.
The end product of this 2 days convergence, like you said, a citizen demand charter will be presented to council. This is going to form a major part of what council should be focusing on as far as their everyday activities and programs are concerned. This document is what communities or the delegates that are presented here for the next 2 days will use in the coming years to assess and even score their council with regards to their performance. The implementation arrangements, most of the issues that will be highlighted in the demand charter, yes, council may not have the necessary human, material, and financial resources to implement them. But that does not change the fact that these demands are a set of priorities that communities want to see addressed. How do we address this as a council? Then that
Africa Global presents the new Tulip Gardens. Taft Tulip Gardens is set to comprise service plots in sizes ranging from 220 to 570 meters square. Deposit as low as $83,600 is only an 18-month interest-free payment plan with only 20% deposit on the service plots. Please contact 376-2333 or 776-2333. Tough Africa.
An organization called Million Books for Gambia organization donated 22,000 books and stand lamps to Armitage High School and the Ministry of Justice. The presentation of the books was done in Banjul at the Gambia Ports Authority premises. Fatou Kamara tells us more.
Million Books for Gambia organization, a subsidiary of Million Books for Africa, has donated 22,000 books and stand lamps to Armitage High School and the Ministry of Justice. This gesture is facilitated by the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education.
Here we are to witness yet another consignment of books donated by Books for Africa, Million Books for Africa, based in Minnesota in the United States of America. 13 years back, a friend of us based in America by the name Langdiba came with the idea that there is an organization called million books for Africa. According to him, before contacting us, these books were being shipped to other parts of Africa, but Gambia was not benefiting. So he came with the idea and approached Honorable Samba Fall, myself, and one Bakari Baji, the former CEO of Buyam Hospital, and we welcome the idea.
According to former mayor of Banjul, Samba Fall, a founding member of MBG, the organization has its eyes fixated on donating 1 million books to the Gambia.
A million books for the Gambia is like a subsidiary or a part of Books for Africa. The target is to make sure that the Gambia receives 1 million books from Books for Africa.
The books donated to the Ministry of Justice are mostly legal books for research. Aliu Jallo, Registrar, Attorney General Chambers, said the books will complement what they already have in the library of the Ministry of Justice.
And we are humbled by this gesture. All of you would be a testimony to the fact that, like educationists, lawyers also work with books. Those are our reference materials. And so every serious chambers really need a law library to be able to do your work efficiently and effectively.
Solicitor General Cherno Marina later shared his thoughts about the gesture.
Well, I mean, it's a very welcome initiative. It's a very welcome initiative, very timely as well. I mean, as you know, I mean, books and legal materials are the lifeblood of this ministry, because all we do basically is based on legal precedents, is based on legal authorities, and of course we are extremely grateful to Books for Africa for this very valuable donation that they have made to the Ministry of Justice. It will go a very long way in capacitizing the staff of the Ministry of Justice, the young lawyers that we have in this ministry. And so we are very happy to be associated with the Million Books for Africa.
Meanwhile, Amitage Senior Secondary School was represented by Abdullah Fofona.
When the books are sent to the Gambia, why Amitage? Was a question that I asked myself. Why Amitage? Hence, Amitage is in the provinces, and there are a lot of schools around in the Combo here who were not privileged to get the service, but to us. And that made me to be somebody so joyful, in the sense, a provincial school like us, though one of the first high schools in the country, receiving such a gesture to still boost the morale of our own students. I was very happy with that. We all know the nature of electricity in the provinces. With NABEC, I will not comment. In the provincial areas, we are not much privileged. But with this strobe light, even any time of the night you get up, you can be able to read if you are willing to do so.
This is not the first time MBG has sent books to the Gambia, and they remain optimistic to attaining the initiative. Fatou Kamara reporting for the Fatou Network News Review.
Welcome back, and now I am joined by our special guest on News Review today, PPP Interim Party Leader, Honorable Keba Jallo. Welcome to the Fatou Network News Review, Mr. Jallo.
Thank you so much, Fatou Network. I am very happy to be here today for the first time, and I hope it won't be the last.
Yes, hopefully it won't be the last. Now, a lot of people do not know, but you've actually served in the First Republic as mayor of Kanifing Municipality. How do you reflect on your days working as the mayor, or they call it before the chairman of KMC? Yes, of KMC.
Actually, Fatou, I started way back in 1977 when I first contested for a council award in Bundung. And I won in 1977, in 1982, 1987, and 1992 as the councillor for Bundung. And then in 1990, there was a bill that was passed in Parliament establishing the Kanifing Municipal Council for the first time. And I happened to contest for the mayor, the chairmanship of the council which I won in 1990, 91 to 94, just at the coup. And that was how I came into be in the PPP light, in the sense that I was also the Secretary General of the PPP Youth Movement, National Secretary General, and I served in the Central Committee of the party. So I am not a new member. I have been there all throughout the last 40 years in PPP. I was literally brought up by the party as a young guy. I left school in 93, and then, in 73. You remember OJ first stood for elections in 1972 and lost. We were the younger ones following him with our voters card. So there were so many young people who were supporting OJ, and I was among them, who canvassed for him, but we didn't have voters card then. So after we got the age of 21 at the time, we had voters card, and we voted for him. And then there I was brought up by OJ all the way throughout to my political career.
See, I'm glad you mentioned his name. Could you tell us what is your relationship with OJ, and how did the PPP party arrive to the decision of making you the interim leader of the party? Because a lot of people think that you have a very close relationship with OJ, and then he handed this thing to you on a silver platter.
Okay, that is okay. Now, I think OJ, as I would call him a brother, not in blood. But OJ is literally brought me up just from high school, and I was with him. But we are never the same mother and father. We join the same names, but not Jallo OJ or Jallo Keba. No, we are not related by birth. But I would call him OJ, my brother. If I have a brother in the Gambia today, I would call OJ as my elder brother. He's my mentor also. So for me, with him, we have been together from day one. From his first election to the 1994 coup, we've been together. Perhaps I'm close to him, we are in the same constituency, we did everything together politically, so people think maybe he's my relative or he's my broad relative. It's not like that. We are close as a friend and as a brother, but not related by blood. And the way PPP came about, right, OJ, if you remember, PPP was well established until 1994, when there was this change of government. And I left the country in 1994, July on the 20th. I left the Gambia to go to US for a meeting in Memphis, Tennessee. We had a sister city training with Memphis. And then on the 22nd, 2 days after, I was in New York, and there was a coup. I had to stay in New York for like 2-3 weeks, and then came back to Gambia. And I was like confined to one place for some months. After that, I left the Gambia to go to US. First, I went to UK to meet Sadawala for a month, and then from there I went to Canada, and then I settled in Atlanta. All these 22 years, I've never set my foot in the Gambia. But then I did not get PPP leadership in a silver plate. When I came back, it was my duty all along to serve the people. I know when I was in government, in the PPP, as a mayor, as a councillor, my role was to serve the people. And even whereas I was in America, I was doing exactly the same thing that if I was here, I would do the same thing. I remember when they had meetings in America, the PPP, myself, the committees there, would invite them to our homes and then organize meetings to State Department, to Carter Center, to different places. So I was continuing literally what I was doing here, but on the American soil. So OJ decided that he's not going to contest elections. He's not going to contest the leadership of the party. And then there was a Congress. A Congress was held, and Papa Njai was elected as the leader of the party until like some months ago, when he was doing very well, when he was nominated to be the Gambian ambassador to Nigeria. And then the party was always prepared. Even now, if I'm not in, somebody would stop in. Papa was elevated as an ambassador to Nigeria, and then our central committee met and discussed and said, okay, somebody had to come in. Well, when I first came in, I told OJ that I don't want any leadership position. My role is to work for the party, to make sure that the PPP stands on its feet and we serve the people as we used to do. But I really don't need any position in the party. But then, you know, as fate would call it, it was not for me asking for it or OJ asking me, but then Papa was elevated, and then I was asked to be interim leader until the Congress comes in, hopefully in the next couple of months.
So Papa becomes the party leader, and then 1 year, minimum, barely 1 year before Gambia heads to the polls, he is given a position, an appointment as an ambassador. Now, what is your reaction to this? Because a lot of people are questioning the integrity of the party. They are saying, if a party leader can abandon his party 1 year before they head to the polls, it might be easy as well for the incumbent to just throw all the executives away and then, just get the support of the PPP.
No, a PPP was not built like that. There's always a room for someone to step in. Papa was heading the party in the right direction. He did very well. He galvanized the youths in the urban area, and he did very well, honestly. But then there came a call of duty to serve the Gambia in a much larger.
A very uncommon call of duty. I understand party leaders can be appointed in most cases, yes, probably as ministers and heads of department, but as an ambassador.
Yeah, well, I don't see anything wrong with that. For me personally, I see Papa being elevated. He's serving the party is a national level, but then serving the Gambia is international level. I feel it's a good honor for Papa to serve the country at that level, because he is serving at international level, but being the party leader is limited to Gambia and perhaps our supporters all over the world. But I would really, I'm very happy that the Papa took over the job as an ambassador to Nigeria, and then the party moves on. If I am moved today, if I decide not to be there today, there's always someone to step in to move the party. And then the leadership of the party right now is not that if you are the party leader or secretary general, you are going to be automatically the flag bearer. So we are trying to do away with that. So hopefully in the next Congress that will change. Whether Papa is the leader or not, he may not necessarily be the flag bearer. Even at that time, that was like that. Jawara, when he was the party leader, he was not automatically the flag bearer. There was internal selection process within the party, and then he is normally, because of the incumbency, is always normally selected to be the party leader and the flag bearer. So if Papa is not in today, if we meet again in the next couple of months and then there is a Congress, we may produce somebody who can be the flag bearer. But it's not limited to Papa being there for 2 years and he's gone and the party is dead. No.
So internally, this is how you view it. But the people outside with the political lenses are saying a totally different thing. Now, they're attributing Papa's appointment to the PPP actually trying to lean to support the National People's Party, which is Barrow's party. How do you respond to that?
No. If you notice, PPP has plus 7 or 9 other parties, including the independents, where the backbone of the current president as independent candidate, PPP plus other parties and 1 or 2 independent parties, elected Barrow to be the leader, and then he won. Now, for other parties who don't want to continue the coalition, they step back, and then PPP plus others stepped in, and they followed. We promised ourselves that we struggled so hard to bring Gambia to where it was in 2016, 2017, until we had a new president. Why would we draw back? What did Barrow did in 2017 for some people, 2018 for us people to draw back? We decided to stay with him until his term ends for 5 years. That is 2021. That is what brought us to this supporting of President Barrow. We will be with him. We signed with him. We promised that we will be with him until the end of the 5 years, and that is why we are here. If you recall, in the last month, PPP was very instrumental in the last 2 elections in Joka and Nyamina. I led the delegation to Nyamina. What we did, I can tell you, not many parties did. There were four parties that joined the NPP, and PPP was very instrumental in winning and helping NPP to win the seat. And I believe President Barrow really acknowledged our efforts. So we are with him until 2021.
That ends in 5 years.
Yeah, that ends in 5 years.
Five years mandate.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people actually believe that the PPP is a dead party or it is heading to the graveyard. How do you respond to these people?
No,
and what are the chances for the PPP in 2021?
No, PPP has always been there. I came in after 22 years, I came back to the country. That was 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. I found the party strongly on its feet, handled almost single-handedly by OJ. When I came in, OJ was elevated to as a minister, and then I started helping him run the party. And we contested nationwide council elections. Almost like 30-something seats in council. If we are not that covered in the country, we would not have been able to do that. But we went all over the country. We have our committees. We have our bureaus all over the regions. PPP has bureaus over the region. We have candidates. We have committees. Up to now, we are doing as any party would do. PPP is rejuvenating. You remember? Don't forget, our PPP was is the founding father of our party in the country. We were proscribed for 7 years. Our members were not even allowed to assemble, even 5 of them at one time. And for us to recover from that would not have been very easy. But as I'm talking now, PPP has regional offices, all regions. We have committees. We are preparing to enter into elections coming up in this election cycle, whether it's presidential or parliament or council. So we are, because we don't have our own president, doesn't mean that we are dead. There is only one president, and the president is all of us. PPP, we have a president, and that is Barrow. Like the coalition, their president is Barrow. So Barrow is not NPP president, no. Barrow is a coalition president. PPP is older than Barrow's age. So we just cannot throw it in the dustbin like that. Being in trouble, being in difficulty for our party doesn't mean that we are dead, no. If you attend, someday maybe we'll invite you, you'll attend our meetings, you'll see how excited the youths are joining the party. That's where Papa did very well. He brought in so many youths to the party. So as I am telling you now as the interim leader, we are doing as much as we can to make sure the party stands on the feet. Actually, I have been in this team for almost like 3/4 of my age. So it's not new to me. And I'm trying to consolidate what we have.
So the race is getting really tight. So many political parties joining the race for the 2021 presidential elections. Like I asked, what are the chances of the PPP? But most importantly, what special strategies do you intend to use come 2021?
Okay, now every country, every organization learns from history. PPP has the richest history than any party in the country. We were tested, we governed. Our records are very clean and clear. Our records would help anybody to say that PPP, this is what we did. If you go to any part of the country, in the villages, you will see something that was done by the PPP. So it is not difficult for PPP to stand up on its feet and say, this is what we did here. When I go around the country, I don't even talk. When we say PPP, people start talking about Jawara and OJ. Jawara and OJ. So for us, what we have to sell, no other party has in this country, because of the fact that we governed for almost 30 years. And we laid the foundation for the country to be where it is now, as an independent country. As a country that was ruled by rule of law, and our human rights were given to us. So that is an asset. That is another reason why I support Barrow, in the sense that Barrow, no matter what, I was in exile. I wanted to come home. I could not. If a colleague of mine died in our hands in Senegal, Bouba Balde, he was not allowed to be buried in his country. So if Barrow would, if the president, is my president, would allow that freedom of us being the Gambian, speak what we want to our mind, assemble, talk what we want to. Now I believe he's doing exactly what we struggled for when I was in America. So I think he's not doing bad. The problem here is, tell me who's the best Gambian. Fatu, I would say you are a nice Gambian, but just go behind and somebody say Fatu is the worst Gambian, and they don't even know you. So this is politics. But the politics, as I see it now, Barrow is doing a good job. He is my president. He is the president of the coalition until 2021, when a new president will come in. Hopefully he will win. Hopefully maybe somebody will come in, but then he is the president. And we are behind him until that time. What we will do is to go back to our history and roots and sell the idea to them. Maybe perhaps younger people may not know much about PPP, that is true, but then that doesn't mean that their fathers or mothers or sisters don't know much about PPP. So now, if we organize meetings like we do regularly, you will see so many people coming in, so many young people. Elderly are already in our grasp, but the young ones are coming in droves. So we don't have problem of getting the messages out, no.
So one thing, how strong is the PPP today, even following the departure of one of the founding members, Bibi Daba, who also, came up with his own party? He must have carried a good chunk from the PPP, or what do you think?
Yeah, actually the question of Bibi is a staying case. We were all together in exile. He was in UK and I was in America. I was an executive member of the party, and Bibi was the vice president for a long period and a minister. I would expect that if the government that I served, the people that entrusted me to lead them, and in good times we are leaders. In difficult times, I would expect us to be difficult leaders also. I expect Bakari, when he was in the diaspora, to do more than anybody, because he's free there. Nobody would arrest him there. Nobody would do anything in UK, like I did in US. We did all the demonstrations in Washington, New York, Atlanta. That's what I did. That's what I used to do. I would expect Bakari not only to do that, he did that, I saw it, but then to do more for the party. But unfortunately, he did not. And then when there was time for Congress, he came in 3 weeks before Congress and wanted to take over the party. It doesn't work that way. You have to show something. You have to contribute your quota. You have to work hard. Like me, I told OJ when I came in, I don't want any position. I just want to work for the party. When the party stands on its feet, somebody will fit in or I'll fit in. But then I had expected Bakari to do the same, even better than me. He was a minister and a vice president for 10 years. I would expect him to sacrifice more than Keba Jallow. But unfortunately, he did not. He came in 3 weeks before the Congress and wanted to take over. It doesn't work that way.
When he didn't get it his way, he decided to form his party.
Yes.
Would you agree that his departure have impacted the PPP a little bit?
No, well, it depends on who you talk to, because most of the PPP at the time, the UDP was found mostly by PPP and NCP. If you remember at the time, I was also a founding member in the diaspora of UDP. We all abandoned, but not abandoned, when the party was proscribed, we joined together and formed UDP. I would expect when Bakari formed his party, which is okay, we have no problem about that, he could do that. But I would have expected him to stay in his party, work hard. I mean, look at what happened today. Papa Njai was elevated to an ambassador, and there was a vacancy, and I took over. If Bakari would have been there, maybe there would have been no major problem for him to take over. But then you just cannot come and say, just give it to me. It doesn't work that way now. Maybe before people can clap, but now you people are very smart. You are smarter than me 10 times. You will not just come and say, okay, give me leadership. It doesn't work that way. So I would expect Bakari to have done something more to earn it, not to give him as a mansa. It doesn't have, I mean, that time has passed. Now, Bakari forming his party is good. We are very glad about that. But I did not want it that way. I would have asked him to stay and bring the people together, and then so that we can move on. But what I can read in that, he just wants to be a leader. That's it. He just wants to be a leader. I would have asked him to be behind, help us, and then when his time comes, maybe he's going to be him next time. But then I want to be a leader. He formed this party. No problem about that. Bakari is a good man. I have known him for many years. He's a decent man, but sometimes people get carried away by other people. I would not have advised him to do what he did, but no matter what, he did it. And then also Bakari was vice president, and then you remember during the coup, he was appointed as the Minister of Finance for three months, or not more than that, I think. But then he wrote a very strong letter to the junta. I mean, expressing dissatisfaction and castigating the PPP for being rampant corruption and all these things. I didn't expect that from anybody like him. If I served in the government as vice president for 10 years, I would not go outside and then accuse those people, including, because he's a part of it anyway, of being rampant corruption and all this. That is not nice as a gentleman.
So since the Congress of the PPP, we have not seen the party engage in any sort of campaigning like other political parties are doing. When do you intend to go out there to the electorate and face them?
We are. I just returned from the provinces like 3 weeks ago. And yesterday we had one of the best meetings in our bureau. We are always having meetings throughout the country. Gambia is not a small place now. You know, I mean, you have to go to 53 constituencies and 7 regions. We are very strong. We have bureaus in all the regions and fully operational. And we have our own bureau here in Tabokoto. So if you want us to have a large crowd, we are building that route. We are building that. The foundation is coming up. Hopefully, we will be having our next Congress in the next 2 months. And then we will start to do the large crowd meetings. But I think the best is to work from within, work below and galvanize the people, so that when we meet, you'll find crowd. So that's where we are now. But if you want to tell me, if you challenge me now to say, Keba, I want to see your big meeting within a month, I promise you I can bring you tens of thousands, I mean almost like 50 to 20,000 people at one place. We can do that. So if you challenge me, I will do that.
I challenge you. I challenge you. Thank you very much, Mr. Jala. What do you have to say to our viewers and, of course, the PPP supporters out there?
No, first I have to thank you for giving us the airtime to express our party's position in many issues. And I just want to tell people that the PPP is not a small party. It has never been a small party, a party that brought us independence. Look at what happened in the developed countries. In America, they have 2 parties, basically 2 main parties. But then it's been going. We would not let PPP die. Why would we? UP should not have gone, have not died. I mean, we should not let the efforts I did as chairman of KMC, or Sadada what he did, or what Bakari did, or what Sew Sabali did, or all the ministers, just to fade away like that. No, that's what we are trying to protect, the legacy of our leaders, our forefathers, what they did until we are enjoying what we are enjoying today. So that is basically our mission, to make sure the legacy of Sadada and those with him, Andrew Kamara, all these people, MC Chams, they worked tirelessly, OJ, to bring the country to where we are. I think if we are to offer anything to the country, that is what we have to make sure that people enjoy. Eventually, one day, PPP will have its own government, and then all these things will be unearthed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jala, for coming through to the Fata Network News Review. We'll stay tuned. When we return, we'll be joined by the Deputy PRO of the organization Fight Against Cyber Crime to talk about some of the events that they'll be holding in the upcoming days. Stay tuned for that.
Imagine owning a home or a service plot, enjoying the sunrise and sunset from a beautiful garden, morning hugs and beautiful moments with your loved ones, the never-ending stories, beautiful memories that will last a lifetime, making and sharing great moments with family and friends. You can turn this into a reality. All you need is a tough
Welcome back, and now I am joined by Tamsir Salah, who is the Deputy PRO for the Association Fight Against Cybercrime. Tamsir, welcome to the Fata Network News Review.
Thank you very much, and it's a pleasure to be here.
So much going on right now. Too many things happening in the cyberspace. Photos being leaked, nude pictures, videos, you name it. Why is it timely for you people to be having this kind of organization?
Okay, thank you very much. It is indeed a pleasure to be here. I am Tamsir Salah, the Deputy IPRO for Fight Against Cybercrime. It is indeed a pleasure to be here, like I said, and it is something that is a wake-up call for all Gambians. We've known this is not for of its kind for such events to be happening or for such crimes to be happening, but we deem it necessary because we as an organization or as a movement, it doesn't mean like this is a first of its kind for us to embark on such. But then it's now that we should realize, and it's now that people realize that there is a need for us to stand up and fight for people who are actually victims of cyberbullying, because we are all victims, one in one way or the other, because I can be a victim and you can be a victim with regards to cybercrime. So we deem it necessary as Gambians, as concerned Gambians, we have to stand up for our people, because most of these cases or crimes that are actually going on is our very prominent people who are actually victims of such. So we deem it necessary to actually stand up and see how best we can fight against this cybercrime or cyberbullying.
So where do we go from here? It seems there is going to be a march past coming up.
So probably we actually scheduled a march past that will be taking place probably on Saturday. That is on the 28th of this month, and tomorrow that is we'll be having a press conference at Hyperlink. So it will be something that, you know, it will be ideal for every concerned Gambian to come and attend the press conference and, you know, our upcoming plans with regards to the march past, because the march past will be starting from, how to call it, it will be around the Senegambia area here, from Senegambia towards the Youth Monument. So it is something that, you know, it's a concern, whereas we have to speak up to the Gambians and show them actually our concern as concerned Gambians, because it doesn't mean like this is not a political movement, or it doesn't mean like we're supporting one political party, but it's everybody, no one is left behind, because anyone can be a victim. So in short, it doesn't mean we're supporting one particular individual with regards to the cybercrime or cyber victim, but as a concerned Gambians, because we all know that how we use the social media, and each and every one of us is using in the social media in one way or the other. I can be at my comfort zone to be writing something else against you when I'm actually not in line with you. So everyone is a victim with cyberbullying or cybercrime. So it is right time that we stand up as concerned Gambians. We see how best we can fight against cyberbullying or cybercrime. So our plan or our upcoming event will be taking place tomorrow. That is the press conference. Then from the press conference, we'll be moving on for our march past, whereas we'll express our concerns to the government in general, whereas if there is need be for the National Assembly to enact such laws, whereas victims of cyber such activities can be actually victimized, because if there are provisions in the Gambian Constitution whereas it is stipulated for any person caught doing so, we will actually, the law will actually dealt with you. I think there will be some wake-up call for people who are actually doing such act.
There's so much you can do as an organization, but have you had any engagement with the authorities in the Gambia?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. It's indeed a concern. Like we know, as a movement, we are not actually entitled for any movement without making prior information with the authorities involved with regards to that. We've wrote to the IGP with regards to a permit, with regards to our march pass, because we've known that embarking on a march pass, it requires right authority. You have to meet the people who are concerned with regards to security and other logistics. So we've wrote to them, and actually probably we may actually receive our letter tomorrow with our approval to permit us the grant and the go ahead, whereas we can embark on our peaceful march past to express our concerns and our issues.
But the engagement could go beyond the march past, because in as much as you want to fight as an organization, you will probably need the help of the authorities in fighting this, because it has to do with the law and everything. So is there any engagement to that level, or not right now?
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, like you said, there is actually an engagement, because the authorities themselves are even involved with regards to such operations. Though we've known there are others who are actually part of this, or the founding body of this organization or this movement, but we actually engage the authorities who actually can be so pivotal with regards to such, because we've known that they are actually change agents, and they are actually people whom, you know, when we involve them in our activities, it can be something that can be a great concern, and we can achieve our target. Because we've known that, like the National Assembly, we've known they are the people who are responsible for such, to advocate for such laws or such issues to be actually enacted in our constitution, whereas it can protect you and I for such issues. So here, like I told you before, no one is left behind. We are all victims and we are all involved in it. It doesn't mean like we have to politicize the issue or our movement, but everybody is involved in this. And we've written to various stakeholders and various authorities in making sure that this event is successful. It doesn't, we are not actually stopping only in this march past, but we actually going beyond this march past to make sure we express our concerns to the people who are involved, or people who can actually be of help, like the government, like I told you. to help us make sure there are provisions in the Constitution where they can help us enact those laws and provisions where everybody can be protected as Gambians.
Thank you very much, Tamsir Sala, Deputy PRO from the organization Fight Against Cybercrime. Thank you very much for coming through to the Fatu Network.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, that's it for News Review. Do join us tomorrow if you can. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.